Hey Brody, can you help me get faster? Brody, I need your help. I am trying to become sub 20 consistently, but in an average of 5, I only get 2 or 3 sub 20 solves. The rest are sub 22. Bro, I am your 3rd subscriber, but one case is that I cannot move the cube fast means that I could not able to solve the cube. I just recently felt 30, not 20, and I want to be sub 40, and I know almost all PLLs. I am now around average, and in the I know full PLL better. Enough! Man, I feel like Obi-Wan with all of the "You're my only hope" messages I'm getting. But seriously, I get so many comments and questions saying that they don't know what to do to get faster and that they need my help. And you know what I say to that? You're lying to yourself. Every single person has the ability to improve on their own. And I'm going to prove that. I'm going to teach each and every one of you how to take matters into your own hands by showing you what I think is the best way to improve at any event, no matter what your skill level is. Let's get into it. So when Mr. BrodytheCuber420 DMs me asking for advice, I, like the nice person I am, ask 2 questions in response. How do you practice, and how much do you practice? Why do I ask these things? Because if you're feeling stuck, there's a 99% chance that your problem is one of those 2 things. The back and forth from there is almost always the same. Mr. BrodytheCuber420 will say that they spend an hour or 2 every day practicing, and that their practice is just doing solves. Well, there's your problem. You can't expect yourself to get faster by doing the same thing over and over again. You know the Einstein quote about this. All solves do is reinforce everything that you already do in your solves. So if you have a lot of bad habits, then all you're doing by doing more solves is reinforcing those bad habits. And doing that will make it even harder to improve. It sounds incredibly obvious, but the best way to improve is to figure out what your weaknesses are and do specific practice in order to fix them. But how do you find out what your weaknesses are? Let me show you. For this part, you're going to need to record your solves. I know that when I say that, a bunch of you are going to go straight to the comments and say, "But Brody, I can't record my solves." And you know what I say to that? You're lying to yourself. According to YouTube, there is about a 65% chance that you're watching this video right now on a phone. And you know what that phone has? A camera. And even if you're watching this video on a different device, there's still a very high chance that you have some sort of access to a phone. So when you record your solves, it's key to get a camera angle that's either first person or over the shoulder. Whatever you do, don't get a camera angle like this, for 2 reasons. First of all, what the f*** is that? Nobody wants to see that. We're here to look at solves. And second of all, because an angle like that doesn't give you the same perspective that you had while you were doing the solve. That's the perspective you want to have, so you can tell what was going through your mind at the time. Having a tripod is always the best case scenario for recording yourself because it makes things much easier, but in case you don't have a tripod, here's a rapid fire troubleshooting guide. Don't have a tripod? Use the J-perm technique, where you put your phone in a cup and put that on a shelf or something to get the perfect angle. Can't get that method to work? Have a family member hold your phone and stand behind you while you're doing solves so you can record yourself that way. Don't live with your family? Invite a friend over and ask them to do it. Don't have any friends? Then make some. So now that you've got your solves recorded, and I recommend recording about an average of 12 at a time by the way, you can rewatch them in order to find your weaknesses. But watching the solves at full speed isn't going to help you very much. We're going to have to upload them to YouTube and use YouTube's slow motion feature in order to look at them in much more detail. And before I get even more comments saying that you can't do that, let me make something very clear. You're lying to yourself. If you're watching this video, you clearly have access to an internet connection, and you either already have a YouTube account, or you can easily make one and upload it there. So upload the video, make it unlisted if you're insecure like me, and we can continue. Now we can finally get to what you have to do. Watch your solves, and based on what you see, identify your weaknesses, make a plan on how to practice so you can fix those weaknesses, and let me sleep peacefully at night knowing that Mr. BrodytheCuber 420 reached his goal of becoming sub 20. Although you could send me the solves of just about anyone aspiring to be sub 20, and I would be able to make a list of weaknesses that's bigger than my own ego, out of respect for my time and yours, you'll want to come away with 1 to 3 major weaknesses that you need to work on. So pull up your solve video, set it to 0.25 speed, and start analyzing. You'll want to find as many mistakes as possible, and then figure out which mistakes are your biggest weaknesses so you know what you have to work on. For now, we're going to leave no stone unturned. You need to consider everything when trying to find your mistakes. Basically, you need to not be like me when I'm editing videos. You can't let anything get past you. The areas that you should definitely check for mistakes include finger tricks, use of inspection, look ahead if you're fast enough to need it, cross efficiency, cube rotations, last layer habits, pair choice, extra moves between F2L pairs, OLL fluidity, PLL fluidity, F2L efficiency, regrips, and anything else that you can think of. Now, you need to figure out which of those problems are the worst for you. There are a few ways to tell minor mistakes apart from big weaknesses. If something only happens once in your average of 12, it's just a mistake. But if it happens repeatedly, it's a weakness that you might want to take a look at. And if there's a mistake you only make on your bad solves, that's almost definitely a big weakness, because it means that every time it happens, it kills your entire solve. So now that you hopefully know your biggest weaknesses, we can get to everybody's favorite part: practice. But here's the important part, because if you mess this up, you've wasted all your time you've spent watching this video. You need to practice your weaknesses specifically. So how do you do that? Using specific practice techniques for it. I really encourage you to come up with your own specific techniques that meet your own specific needs, but if you can't come up with any, I've got you covered. I know what it's like to be out of ideas. That explains most of the videos on this channel. I've got plenty of practice techniques spread through a ton of videos on my channel, and I'll link a bunch of them in the description and categorize them so you know where to look if you have a specific weakness. So basically, you practice with the techniques until you feel like you've made enough progress, then you do some solves to reinforce that process, and then you repeat the whole thing by finding new weaknesses. So that's how you improve at any event. You learn something new, practice it until you're comfortable with it, fix your weaknesses, and repeat the process. It's as simple as that. So thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button harder than Matt hits me when I play Wii Boxing. Hopefully this video has helped you figure out how to improve and actually get faster, and if not, hopefully it's at least made you feel better about yourself without actually doing anything that I mentioned in this video. Oh yeah, and a huge thank you to my friends Manon, Sebastian, and Jensen for helping me with scripting this video and making sure all of the jokes are actually funny. I'll link all of their channels in the description. They really deserve some extra attention for all the amazing stuff they do. Now this is actually goodbye. See ya!